If you're over 70 and planning a resort getaway soon, you'll want to watch this until the end. Because most seniors have no idea about the hidden perks and benefits waiting for them at resorts around the world. I'm talking about things that can save you money, elevate your comfort, and give you experiences that younger travelers simply overlook. So, before you book your next stay, here are 11 resort benefits that are quietly hidden from you. And while you're here, make sure to like this video, subscribe, and comment below. Where's the most relaxing place you've ever stayed? I'd love to know. 1. Senior-only discounts that aren't advertised. This is one of those secrets that resorts will never shout from the rooftops, but it's real, and it can save you a surprising amount of money. Most travelers assume that senior discounts are something you only find at diners or movie theaters, not at 5-star beach resorts. But here's the catch. Many resorts quietly have special senior rates, early booking perks, or hidden promotional codes that aren't listed anywhere online. You see, resorts rely heavily on word of mouth and returning guests, and they know that travelers over 70 tend to be polite, responsible, and loyal. They don't cancel last minute, they respect staff, and they usually come back. So, to attract these guests, resorts often have a hidden senior category tucked away in their booking systems. You won't find it unless you ask directly. I once spoke to a retired couple who traveled to the Caribbean every year. For years, they booked online and paid full price until one year they decided to call the resort directly. When they casually mentioned their ages, the reservation agent quietly offered them 25% off their entire stay and threw in free breakfast for the week. The resort never advertised it. It was only revealed if a guest asked about senior pricing. And that's the key. You have to ask. Sometimes it's as simple as saying, "Do you offer any discounts for senior travelers or retired guests?" The staff won't always bring it up first, but once you mention it, they often check the system and find something for you. And it's not just about age. Sometimes they'll apply a quiet season rate or loyalty discount just because you ask politely. Always remember, resorts make most of their money off guests who don't ask questions. But at 70 or older, you've earned the right to ask. You might end up saving hundreds of dollars, or getting free meals, spa credits, or even an upgrade thrown in as a courtesy. Never underestimate the power of a gentle, confident question. 2. Complimentary room. Upgrades, if you know when to ask. Most people think room upgrades are a matter of luck. But for seniors, it's often about timing and tone. When you walk into a resort lobby, that first impression matters more than you'd imagine. Staff remember who's kind, patient, and friendly. And those guests are usually the ones who get the hidden perks. If you're over 70, you already have one big advantage. Resorts prefer calm, respectful guests who appreciate peace and quiet. Younger travelers sometimes cause noise complaints, request endless changes, or damage property. But older guests are considered gold. They make the place look good, treat staff well, and often leave positive reviews. So, when rooms are available, managers are more than happy to quietly move a senior guest to something better. Here's how it works. When you arrive, always check in around mid-morning or late afternoon. That's when front desk managers have the most flexibility with unassigned rooms. Walk in with a smile and say something simple like, "We're looking forward to a peaceful stay. If there happens to be a quiet room or one with a bit more space available, we'd really appreciate it." That line, calm, polite, and direct, is pure magic. I've known travelers who ended up with ocean views, private balconies, or poolside suites just by asking this way. Resorts don't always charge for the upgrade if the rooms aren't booked anyway. And they love giving them to guests who seem grateful. It makes their job more pleasant too. Here's another insider trick. Mention a minor mobility or comfort need. Something like, "We prefer to avoid stairs if possible," or "We sleep lightly, so quieter rooms are best." That signals the staff to prioritize your comfort, which often means a nicer, upgraded room. And if you're ever traveling midweek or during off-season periods, the chances of an upgrade skyrocket. You might just check in to a standard room and wake up in a suite, all because you asked kindly and at the right time. 3. Hidden quiet zones most tourists don't know about. Resorts can feel chaotic. Loud pools, music, crowds, and kids running around. But what most guests don't realize is that nearly every resort has at least one secret quiet zone. These are the peaceful areas designed for older guests, honeymooners, or those seeking rest. The problem? They're never highlighted on the brochure. You have to find them. Sometimes it's a smaller pool tucked behind palm trees with no loudspeakers or games. Sometimes it's a garden path that leads to a little reading deck overlooking the sea. In larger resorts, there might even be entire adults-only wings, but you'll only know about them if you specifically request one. I remember hearing about a woman in her 70s who stayed at a resort in Bali. On her first day, she thought she'd made a mistake. Screaming kids, blaring music, and poolside parties that lasted until midnight. But when she asked the staff if there was anywhere quieter, they smiled and guided her to a small lagoon pool tucked behind a wall of bamboo. No one was there except a few other older guests reading and sipping coffee. The best part? It was open to everyone, just never advertised. The staff told her, most people never ask. They just assume the noisy pool is the only one. Resorts keep these zones low profile to maintain exclusivity. They don't want everyone crowding them. But for you, they can completely transform your experience. Peaceful mornings, quiet swims, and even private wait service in areas designed for serenity. So always ask, are there any quieter or adults-only areas on the property? You might just find your own personal oasis hiding in plain sight. 4. Medical assistance and health programs for seniors. Here's something almost no one talks about. Modern resorts are quietly becoming more senior-friendly than ever before, with on-site medical and wellness services built into their operations. They just don't advertise it because they don't want to scare off younger travelers with the idea of medical care. But for guests over 70, this can be a huge comfort. At many resorts, there's a 24-hour nurse or paramedic on call. Some luxury resorts even have small medical suites equipped with basic emergency gear, blood pressure monitors, oxygen tanks, and first aid equipment. They don't broadcast this publicly, but if you ask at check-in, the staff will discreetly explain how to reach medical help if needed. Then there's the wellness side. Something resorts are using more than ever to attract older guests. Many now partner with local clinics or wellness centers to provide low-impact yoga, aquatherapy, and even physiotherapy sessions. These are not mass classes, packed with tourists. They're small, calm sessions designed for balance, flexibility, and gentle mobility. And here's the best part. Some of these programs are included in your stay. They're hidden under names like wellness activities, morning flow, or aqua balance. You might think it's just another fitness class, but in reality, these are structured to suit all ages, especially those over 65. One resort in Thailand even offers a senior wellness concierge, a staff member whose entire job is to help older guests plan safe excursions, manage medication schedules, and provide emergency support if needed. Again, it's not something you'll ever see in the brochure, but it's there. When you check in, ask, do you offer any wellness or medical support for senior guests? You'll be amazed how many hidden doors that question opens, and how much peace of mind it brings. 5. Early dining privileges and fresh food before crowds hit. If you've ever arrived at the buffet just to find the best food picked clean and the lines endless, this tip alone can change your whole resort experience. Many resorts quietly offer early dining privileges, especially for seniors, but they rarely talk about it publicly. It's not an official policy, but more of a courtesy extended to guests who prefer quiet and comfort over chaos. When you dine earlier, you're not only avoiding the crowds, you're getting the freshest food straight from the kitchen. The salads are crisp, the meat's perfectly grilled, the desserts untouched. The chefs often prepare small batches for early diners, so everything tastes fresher. If you walk into a restaurant around opening time and mention that you prefer an early, quiet dinner, the staff will usually seat you immediately and often assign you to a calm, scenic corner. And because you're early, service is better too. The waiters aren't rushed, they chat more, and sometimes they'll even bring you little extras, like complimentary desserts or special drinks. It's also safer. Fewer people around means less chance of bumping or rushing, and it's easier to move at your own pace. And if you have dietary needs, low salt, soft foods, diabetic-friendly options, the chefs have more time to accommodate you when the kitchen isn't slammed. There's also a hidden social benefit. Early dining becomes a quiet little community of other calm, mature travelers. You'll meet other seniors, strike up conversations, and often see the same faces each night. People who, like you, value peace over noise. So next time, don't wait for the crowds. Tell the concierge or restaurant host, "We enjoy dining early to avoid the rush. Is that possible?" They'll almost always say yes, and you'll get a dining experience the late crowd never will. 6. Free transportation services. Most people don't use. You'd be surprised how many resort guests walk long distances, spend money on taxis, or tire themselves out, all while a free shuttle or cart service is sitting unused. Many resorts, especially those spread out over large properties, offer complimentary transport options, but they don't advertise them loudly. Why? Because they prefer to reserve them for guests who truly need them. If you're over 70, that's you. These services can include golf carts, electric shuttles, and even personal drivers for short local trips. At beachfront resorts, there's often a small train or cart system that runs between the lobby, pools, and rooms. You just need to ask. Some resorts extend this to airport transfers. They'll quietly include pickup and drop-off if you book directly with them instead of through a travel site. Others have scheduled runs to nearby shopping areas, historical towns, or scenic lookouts, but they'll never email you about it. You have to ask the front desk. I know of one resort in Mexico where older guests are automatically offered a private buggy when checking in, but only if they mention they prefer not to walk far. The staff don't assume, they wait for the guest to ask. Once you do, they'll assign you a friendly driver who's on call for your entire stay. Another resort in Spain offers a local shuttle every morning to nearby markets and coastal villages. Most tourists don't even know it exists, but seniors who do use it save money, energy, and get a wonderful local experience without the hassle of taxis or tours. It's one of the simplest but most underrated perks. So before you start walking long distances or booking an outside car, always say, "Do you have a guest transport service or shuttle?" You might be surprised to find your own chauffeur waiting, free of charge. 7. Custom pillow and mattress options for seniors. Comfort may not seem like a hidden benefit, but it's one of the most powerful secrets resorts quietly offer, especially for older guests who know how much a good night's rest can make or break a vacation. What most people don't realize is that high-end and even mid-range resorts often keep entire storage rooms filled with alternative bedding options, firmer mattresses, orthopedic pillows, memory foam toppers, and even hypoallergenic sheets. But they rarely mention this anywhere. Why? Because it's not something they want every single guest requesting at once. These special bedding options are meant for those who ask. Think about it. After 70, your body changes. You might have arthritis, shoulder stiffness, or back pain that flares up when you sleep on something too soft or too firm. Resorts know this, but they also know comfort is a deeply personal thing. That's why they've quietly started offering comfort menus. In some places, you can choose from 10 different pillow types: cooling gel pillows, memory foam, buckwheat, feather, or even lavender-scented pillows for better sleep. I heard about one resort in Portugal that never lists this service publicly. But if you tell the staff you're sensitive to your sleeping surface, they'll send a comfort specialist to your room. Within minutes, they'll replace your bedding with whatever setup suits your spine and joints best. They even keep special knee pillows for guests who experience hip discomfort, something older travelers appreciate immensely after long flights. And here's a trick. Mention the words orthopedic support or comfort menu when you check in. Many staff will immediately understand what you're referring to, even if it's not advertised. Some hotels even have electric adjustable beds available on request, particularly in senior-friendly destinations like Spain, Japan, or the Maldives. The impact this has on your vacation is incredible. Instead of waking up sore, you wake up refreshed. Instead of needing pain cream first thing in the morning, you stretch, smile, and feel ready for the day. Sleep well, and the entire trip changes. Your mood, energy, digestion, and even how much you enjoy your meals and excursions. So remember, you don't have to make do with what you're given. Ask for the comfort you deserve, because the best resorts quietly keep it ready, just for guests like you. 8. Hidden loyalty programs that reward returning guests. Here's something that even the most seasoned travelers overlook. Resorts reward loyalty much more generously than you think, but they rarely tell you unless you dig. Most people assume you need to be a frequent business traveler to earn loyalty perks, but resorts actually love repeat vacationers, especially those over 60 or 70. Here's why. Senior guests are predictable in the best possible way. They travel during off-peak times, they stay longer, and they're more polite to staff. Resorts want those guests back, so they build quiet, guest recognition programs that go far beyond points or coupons. For example, if you've stayed at the same resort chain twice, your name is already in their system. The next time you book, they might quietly flag you as a returning guest, which can unlock automatic perks like priority room placement, late checkout, or free breakfast. They'll never tell you in advance, but it's their way of saying, "We appreciate you." I once spoke to a couple who returned to a small Hawaiian resort after 3 years. When they checked in, the front desk staff said, "Welcome back, Mr. and Mrs. Jenkins. We remember you enjoyed the garden view." Their jaws dropped when they found they'd been upgraded to a corner suite with 2 balconies and a bottle of wine waiting inside, free. They hadn't joined any program. They'd just been kind and memorable during their first visit. If you do join an official loyalty program, even if it's just through the resort's main website, you'll often be treated like family on future visits. Think free nights, private airport transfers, priority spa booking, or even your preferred room held aside. And here's the key: don't wait for them to offer. Say this when booking: "I stayed with you before and absolutely loved it. Do you have a loyalty or returning guest rate?" Those words often trigger hidden promotions that the public never sees. For travelers over 70, who may visit one destination every year or every second year, these programs can easily save hundreds of dollars and create a smoother, warmer experience every single time. Resorts remember good guests, and seniors often leave the best impressions of all. 9. Behind the scenes cultural experiences. This one might just be the most rewarding benefit of all, but almost no one knows about it unless they ask the right question. Many resorts, especially those located near small towns or villages, quietly partner with locals to offer authentic cultural experiences, cooking with local families, learning traditional crafts, or visiting community markets. But they rarely promote these experiences because they're not designed for big groups. They're designed for curious, respectful guests. If you've ever felt that modern resort life feels too touristy or disconnected from the real world outside the gates, these programs are your hidden door into something deeper. Imagine you're at a coastal resort in Thailand. The brochure talks about snorkeling and beach parties, but if you ask the concierge whether they offer any local culture activities, you might find out there's a retired fisherman who takes small groups out on his wooden boat at dawn to show traditional net fishing. Or maybe a nearby family runs a spice farm and hosts private tours where they let you taste and smell herbs straight from the earth. These are unadvertised experiences. Resorts only share them with guests who ask because they want to keep them small and meaningful. They're not about volume. They're about authenticity. For seniors, these are often the most moving parts of the trip. You get to meet locals, learn stories, and feel genuinely connected to a new culture. It's less about adventure and more about understanding, the kind of travel that touches your heart and stays with you long after you're home. I've heard from travelers in their 70s who still talk about the time they learned to make flatbread from a 90-year-old woman in Morocco, or when they joined a village festival in Fiji by pure luck because the resort's activities manager had a friend there. These are moments money can't buy, but respect, curiosity, and the right question can unlock them. Next time you travel, go to the concierge and simply ask, "Do you offer any local or cultural experiences that aren't on the brochure?" You might walk away with the most unforgettable story of your entire vacation. 10. Senior priority at spas and wellness centers. Now here's a secret that even frequent resort goers rarely discover. Seniors are often given silent priority at spas and wellness centers, not because of age alone, but out of respect and care. Staff know that older guests usually have more specific needs, from sensitive joints to circulation concerns, and they quietly make sure those guests are seen by the best therapists at the most comfortable times, often without charging extra. But they'll never announce this publicly. Why? Because younger guests might flood the spa trying to get the same treatment. So instead, this benefit is hidden behind how you book and ask. Let's say you call the spa and say, "I'd love a gentle massage. I'm in my 70s and prefer something relaxing rather than deep pressure." That one sentence signals to the staff that you should be paired with their most experienced masseuse, someone who understands anatomy, sensitivity, and patience. In many resorts, these staff members are quietly reserved for guests who need extra care, like seniors or pregnant women. You might even get extra time on the table or complimentary upgrades like aromatherapy oils, hot towels, or reflexology. Another secret, spas tend to schedule seniors at off-peak hours automatically, like mid-mornings or early afternoons, when the atmosphere is calm and unrushed. These times are also when the most skilled therapists are available. And if you're friendly and communicate well, many will tailor treatments to your health, easing stiffness, helping circulation, or even showing stretches you can do in your room. Some resorts have entire wellness programs disguised under different names, things like mindful mornings or harmony rituals. They're often built with older guests in mind, blending spa treatments with light meditation, herbal teas, and gentle movement. But you'll only discover them if you ask what's not on the printed spa list. A woman I once met in Costa Rica shared that after casually mentioning her arthritis, the spa offered her a custom treatment that wasn't even listed. A volcanic clay therapy designed to reduce inflammation. She said it was the first time in years her hands didn't ache. So when you visit a spa, don't just pick from the menu. Start a conversation. Your body has earned comfort, and resorts have the resources to provide it. They just wait for you to ask. 11. Late checkouts for seasoned guests. If you've ever been forced to pack your bags at 9:30 a.m., sweating and rushing while your flight isn't until the evening, you'll appreciate this last one more than anything. Late checkouts are one of the most common unspoken courtesies extended to seniors at resorts. They're rarely written into policy, but managers quietly approve them for guests who ask nicely, especially those over 65 or 70. Resorts know older travelers value comfort and don't want to sit in a lobby for hours. And if you've been a kind, tidy guest, the staff want to help you. They'll look at their system, see which rooms aren't immediately booked, and often say, "Of course, you can stay until 2 p.m. or even later." I once watched a gentleman in his 70s request a late checkout in the simplest, kindest way possible. He smiled and said, "Our flight's not until later this afternoon. Would it be possible to rest a little longer before we go?" The receptionist smiled back and extended his stay until 4 p.m. without a fee. No arguing, no paperwork, just respect and kindness. And it's not only about comfort. Late checkouts can make travel so much easier. You can shower, rest your legs, enjoy lunch, and pack without stress. You arrive at the airport calm instead of exhausted. Many seniors don't realize that resorts budget flexibility into their schedules. They leave a few rooms unassigned for late departures. They just don't tell everyone because they'd be flooded with requests. Here's the trick. Ask early, ideally the day before you check out, and use the right tone, warm and polite. You can even mention, "We've really enjoyed our stay. Is there any chance of a late checkout tomorrow? You'll be amazed how often they'll quietly say yes. Sometimes they'll even send a porter to help with luggage or extend your access to the resort facilities after you check out, so you can still use the pool, restaurant, or spa while waiting for your flight. It's one of the simplest, most stress-free ways to end a trip. After all, when you've spent decades working hard, raising families, and earning your peace, you've more than earned a few extra hours of relaxation at the end of your stay.